Welcome to another episode of Life at Peace, you guys. This time for part 3 of this Creativity and Peace series, I have my sister with me. She goes by Meanie Mosey on her social media, but of course the interview, her name is Symone. So you guys will get to hear from her today, and I got a few questions I'm going to ask her, but otherwise it'll be pretty relaxed and just a conversation. So Symone, or Simon, or Seymour, as I
None of those.
affectionately call her.
None of those. The first one's fine.
Okay. So just tell us about yourself. Who are you? What are you up to? What kind of stuff do you do?
Yes. So I graduated from A&M, like Sydney, with an English degree. I've always loved reading and writing and just general storytelling. And so after that, the only plausible master's degree for me was a creative writing degree. So I got that at HBU when it was still HBU. And I had a lot of fun in that program. So it's kind of just like, in addition to writing and reading, I have like several other hobbies. I enjoy crocheting, which is something I picked up in like my freshman year of college, which I learned very quickly and like really like it's stuck with me since then. I enjoy watching anime, just like another aspect of storytelling. That's rather new. My friends and I started watching anime during COVID, which I think actually happened with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't seen any type of storytelling like that before, and so that inspired me to make a YouTube channel about it. Where I just talk about just like the different stories that I see in anime and all of that. And so that's the Meanie Mosey YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, so reading, writing, crocheting, YouTube, anime, and just kind of anything creative in general. My daytime job is I work in marketing. And so it's, again, like not anything that I planned to go for, but like it just happened. Like I was skilled enough to be able to work in that space. So like while I'm doing that, I'm also learning about marketing because it's not something that I ever studied before. Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's a busy woman. Actually, truthfully, both of us are, but Symone, you're the focal point of this episode, so don't be shy about yourself. Mm-hmm. So just got a few questions for you. The first one is, so you mentioned that you crochet. Mm-hmm. What she did not mention is that she taught herself how to crochet. So she learned it back in college, but no one formally sat down and explained it to her. She just looked into it, like, what is this? And then she decided to go for it. So what drove you to want to learn crocheting, and how long did you have to do it before it clicked that, oh, I'm pretty good at this?
I don't know what compelled me to start crocheting. Like, honestly, it's kind of like so random. Like, I think at that point I was kind of like, oh, new year, new hobby, because I'd done like the same thing last year. I think I maybe started bullet journaling the year before or something like that. And so it was always around the start of the year that I tried to learn something new. And like since then, like since I started crocheting, I don't know if I continued to learn something new every single year, formally like that. But for that year, it just happened to be crocheting. And so I've always loved like kind of arts and stuff. And I thought making my own clothing would be fun. And like there's like crocheting, there's knitting, and there's sewing. For sewing, you needed a sewing machine, which I could not afford. And then I don't know why I chose crocheting over knitting, but I know I've tried knitting since, and it's not my favorite. Yeah. But I mean, what was the first one?
I was just asking, how did you get into crocheting, and like when did you start to realize you were pretty good at it?
Okay, so I guess the first way I learned how to crochet was I got the materials from the store, like a hook, some yarn, and then I got like a little crocheting for children book. Like it was literally like teach your kids how to crochet, and I was just like, give me like the most basic instructions. And so I was reading that book, and I made a scarf from that book because it had all kinds of patterns that you could do with it. And then other than that, it's just on YouTube. I was looking up how to do certain things, and I never thought like what I was doing. Like I never thought that the art or the crochet. I guess we're talking about art. I never thought that the art that I was making was bad. It just was, and so I would make things and finish them. And I think that's like the most important thing was that I finished things. Like I made a scarf, and then like once you're done making the scarf, then it's like you fasten off and you're done. You can make a hat. Once it's a hat, it's done. You make a little stuffed animal. Once it's a stuffed animal, it's done. And so is making projects or starting projects and finishing them, and then one after the other, like I would look at different ways to make different projects because each project I made had a pattern for it. And so if I looked at the pattern and the steps that it took to make the pattern, then it'd be like, okay, I can do that, and then just keep following the steps until you finish it. And then once you finish it, it's done, and then you move on to the next pattern. And so it's just a matter of like just continuing to work patterns until you're finished, and then moving on to the next one. And like it got to the point where like now I can like look at things and see, like I can look at a picture of something that's been crocheted, and I can kind of imagine like that's like I know how to make that even without the pattern, like in my own mind, because I made enough patterns with the same types of elements that I understand how to make it. And so it's just like a matter of repetition and doing what you know how to do, and then if you don't know how to do something, then you learn how to do it. There are patterns that I've tried to make, and then like while I was making them, I was like, oh, I don't want to continue doing this. I'm not skilled enough to continue doing this, or I don't want to put forth the effort to be skilled enough to continue in this pattern. So I put it to the side, and then I make more things, and then I revisit it later, and it's like, oh, this isn't as nearly as hard as I imagined it was. Mm-hmm. Or I mean, at the time it might have been, but right. Like going back to it, it's a lot easier to tackle. If that kind of answers that.
Yeah, I guess what I was waiting for you to say is, when did you start to realize, oh, I'm pretty good? Like, it would take a year, 2 years, if you can remember back that far?
I don't know. It's like, I wasn't really comparing myself to anyone else, so it's not like I thought like, oh, I'm good at it, or it's kind of, or I don't know.
Okay.
It's like,
well,
like I know I am good at it, but like, as far as like the realization that like I have special talent in it, I guess that wasn't until like people told me, or like being in like a creative space. Like I haven't been in like a mass creative space with other crocheters to compare progress levels at like different, so it's like I didn't really know. I was just like doing what I do, and
okay. I mean, and also the sweater she's wearing right now, she made it herself. So I don't know if you were gonna say that or anything about that, but yes. So the sweater that she's wearing right now, she crocheted herself, found the pattern, and then just and that's just one of a few things that I guess one of several things that Symone has made that she wears around. So then, addition to crocheting, okay, you also mentioned you do YouTube and you do writing. Before I jump into the YouTube section, with writing, so you did your whole master's degree on that. So, what, in your view, should it look like for a Christian to be creative, and like how do you personally worship God through your creative process?
That's actually one thing that they mentioned. It was kind of like we had a class where is our professor, his name's Dr. Bolston, but it was like officially titled one thing, but it was really just, like that's when Dr. Bolston talks to you for an hour and like you just listen and have a conversation with them. So it had like an official title, but there was no specific syllabus or curricula for that. But one of the things I remember we were having a conversation about was Christian art. and we were specifically talking about Christian movies, and he was saying there's no such thing as a Christian movie. He was very very believing the fact that like censorship in Christianity, or like HBU is a Christian university, and so the fact that they would ban a movie or like prevent people from showing a movie in class because it was rated R kind of irked him. Just because he's like, that's like, who decided the rating? It wasn't God that gave it an R rating or anything like that. It's just a movie. And the one thing that he was talking about was that art itself is there's so many tangents I could go off on this. But he's like, art is either a mirror or a lamp. It either shows you yourself or it shows you the way in which you need to go. And so he was like, one other thing he was talking about was like, what is true art? He said art is not, there were 3 P's. It was, art was not propaganda, art is not pornographic, and I forgot the 3rd P. But I know those 2 for sure. But it was basically saying that art is not, like, the 3 P's were essentially things that directly affected your senses and directly appealed to something that was meant to make you feel a certain way. So propaganda is made to make you feel a certain way about most likely a political party or something. Like we most often see propaganda in politics, but it's made to generate feelings about things and like get you upset, get you angry, get you concerned. It plays on your fear, it plays on your emotions. Pornography plays on like lust and sinful nature and all of that. And then I forgot the 3rd P. But they're things that are meant to directly affect you, and they're not art because they're created in a way that's meant to
like agitate you, or
agitate you, disturb you. Whereas art, like true art, it may do that, but it affects people in different ways. Like it may have like a message for you, except depending on who you are and your life experiences, that message will affect you in a different way. Like some things about alcohol or something like that, and someone who lived with a family of alcoholics is going to be affected differently than someone who does not. And so I don't know, the one thing that he was saying about Christian movies, to get back to that, is that movies that are directly created to be Christian movies are meant to make people feel specific ways about Christianity, to elevate Christianity in a specific light. Like there's a bad guy that we're following the whole movie. He's an atheist and all that. But then in the end, he gets down on his knees. He forgives, or he asks for forgiveness, and then he goes to heaven and all that. And it's like, it's kind of like, it's a very, the movie itself is a very like, this is the right way to go. And it's teaching you, and it's trying to tell you and educate you. And he's like, that's not art, because art kind of gives you the message, but it doesn't spoon feed it to you, and it doesn't like try to control the audience's emotions or try to control the audience's opinion or anything like that. So like art is not controlling in and of itself. And so when it goes to creating art as a Christian, he was saying that there's no such thing as Christian art, but there is a such thing as art that is created by Christians.
Okay.
And so, as a Christian, if you have a direct relationship with God, and not like if you read your Bible every day, but if you read your Bible often, and if you have like the words in your spirit and everything, then anything that you create, He should be in it, because He's created us in His image. to be creators. And so, like, if, like, it's kind of like, you know the tree by the fruit it bears.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're a Christian, if God is in your spirit, then you could be writing a story about the mafia. It's like, there's nothing, well, I don't know, there may be Christians in the mafia, but it's just like, it doesn't, like, the subject matter doesn't really matter. Like Christian art is not all about people who do all the good things and everything like that. Like, oh, he's a doctor. Oh, like, he's doing such good in the world. But no, it's just about, like, everyday people, because Christians live everywhere and do everything. And so, just like in anything that you create, if you're a Christian, then it should come out, and it's not something that you need to worry about, like, oh, is my book or are my writings Christian enough? I don't know. I think I need to sprinkle some Jesus in here. It's like, it's not like, that's not anything that we should be doing as Christian artists.
Gotcha. Which I looked up the mafia. I really would hope that there's no Christians in there.
I don't know. The Godfather was his favorite movie, so I don't.
I think, which is interesting, because I don't know if I can say I've always held this belief, but maybe recently, as I've grown more in my relationship with God, I've more and more started to realize that your work doesn't need to be overtly or explicitly Christian to honor God or to glorify Him. No. And just by doing excellent work, which we're admonished to do in the Bible, like working unto God, not unto man, but just by virtue of doing that, then we already are positioning ourselves for our work to bring attention to God and cause people to want to follow Him. So just everything that you explained, which I'd never heard of a perspective like that until you shared that from Dr. Bolston. Like, that's really interesting, and so I actually kind of wrestled with that for a little bit.
And I also think of, like, Christian athletes, like in the Olympics and everything, if you're competing in, like, a singular sport, like, of course there's the interpersonal relationships with, like, other athletes and everything, but if you're just like what does it mean to be a Christian athlete if you're mainly competing against yourself in something like track or something? Like, how do you run as a Christian? Like, that's not.
You just run. Like Sydney McLaughlin, she's an outstanding example of that. Like, she's after every race, when they interview her, she always gives glory and credit to God, and she refuses to let people just. She doesn't like too much praise or too much attention, because she knows she needs to reflect it back to God. And she's just excellent at what she does, and because of that, it's fun to watch her, and it's easy to cheer for her, because you know that all of the glory and fame isn't going to her head. She's humble, and she knows who to give that back to. So with the whole creating, so what is your creative process? So for example, if you're deciding, oh, I want to make something like a table runner, or if I want to publish this video, do you have a way that you track your ideas? Like, do you put them in your notes, or do you write stuff down? And then just take us through that process from start to finish.
So I wish my process was a bit more organized, or I try to be organized, I guess, like, if you're ever, like, working, like, so hard to be organized that, like, you're working so hard, and, like, anybody from the outside could look at it and be like, what are you talking about? You are organized. And I was like, no, this is a complete mess. You don't understand. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I'm not nearly as organized as I would like to be, but there is some form to it. My notes app is completely full of all kinds of different folders and everything. Oh, let me see. I can.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you had your phone on you.
Let me see. But I have like all iCloud. I have YouTube. I have TikTok. I have writing, which has 219 notes in it. I have anime analysis, which is different than my YouTube notes. I don't know why. I have music mashup ideas. So I don't know. It's literally like so handy just to be able to take out my phone and write something down. I have a journal that I use, but I don't use it as often as I would like to. But so the Notes app is like the basic go-to for any idea that I have, and then I like Apple. This video is not sponsored, but for Apple, like the Notes app can transfer to your iPad or your computer. So if I type a note in my phone, then if I want to expand and turn that whole thing into a script, then I can just go to my computer and type it out. And so I guess if we're talking about a YouTube idea, I could write the idea in my Notes app and then flesh out the script. And then I want to say I use Notion. It's like a software type website.
Like a content creation planner type thing.
It can be used for that. It can be used for a lot of different things. But one of the things I have on there is a content creation planner. And so like that one will tell you, it was developed by another content creator, and so it will tell you like, it'll try to get you to plan out your videos like from the aspect of like, what are some inspirations for the video? What are you trying to accomplish? What makes your video different than the other videos? And then write your script here, write your outline here, track your analytics here. And it's like, that's like kind of a lot of steps for me. So I don't use that up. Most of the time I just put the script in there, and then I forget that I put the script in Notion instead of my Notes app. And then I'm like, where's the script? I know I wrote it, and it's in there. And so like, there's no formal process. For YouTube, I'm trying to post more and just make more videos in general, and so like I have a lot of videos that are scripts in my Notes app that haven't been filmed, and then I have some videos that have been filmed that haven't been edited, and then I have some that have been filmed and edited, but I'm like, oh, it's too late to post it now, and I don't know, I might post them, but like it's all kind of like jumbled up in that sense, at least for YouTube. And so as I continue to post more, maybe that'll get more organized on that front. For crochet, I have a files folder in my, like I'd say I mainly use my files folder and Instagram. And so in the files folder in Apple, like the iCloud files, I have a folder called crochet, and I separate it by like tops, bottoms, home decor, stuffed animals. And so there are a lot of free crochet patterns, and so I'll see something, and if I like it, then I'll download it, and then I'll put it in there. And then whenever the mood strikes me to make something, then I'll be looking around for a second, I'll be like, oh wait, let me check my files, and then I'll see what I have in there, and I'll see like, oh, do I have enough yarn to make this if I want to? And so then I'll start making it, and then it, like, as I'm making it, it gets balled up in a corner of my room, and I can always pick it up, and I know like where I left off and everything like that, which isn't always the best, but it is what it is. And then for writing, so my process is kind of like, I don't know, like I haven't written in a minute actually, but like, again, I use Notion because there's this story planner thing in there that'll help you like outline the story and all that. And I have like probably 2 stories outlined in there, kind of somewhat, not completely finished, but but like, I mean, the main thing with writing is just to write, and so like there are a lot of documents saved on my computer in a writing folder, so
Oh, nice. I mean, it's because I know in your room, do you still have that whiteboard that you write and cross stuff off?
I mean, right now I have like I drew a picture of a 1,000 subscriber plaque.
Nice.
But
100,000?
Oh yeah, 100,000. But so as far as like crossing stuff off, I don't know. I haven't done that in my personal.
Okay.
But I do it at work all the time still.
Yeah. So what is your ideal, what's your dream career? Like, what do you picture yourself doing in like 15 years? Based on what you have going on right now.
I hope I'd be married that would affect some things a little bit. But that's not a career. I mean, might be
for some people.
But in 15 years, let me see. So I have my 2 YouTube channels that I'm kind of working on. It's Symone Stitches and Meanie Mosey. I don't know. It's kind of like at this point in my life, it's like I'm running very fast in multiple directions, or I'm trying to run very fast in multiple directions, and instead I'm just like constantly turning in directions and staying in the same place. But in 15 years, I'm hoping in at least like 5 years or so that whatever pathway I go down is enough to sustain myself like financially. And so I think the main thing that I'm looking for is time to do everything that I want to do, because right now we commute to work and it's pretty far and it takes up like a chunk of time. And so like it's like when I get home I have a limited amount of time to devote to any specific thing that I want to. And so like everyone knows side hustle culture and all of that. So I have a limited amount of time to build up a side hustle. And so I'm assuming once I have something that is built up and profiting, then I would be able to leave like any type of job that I have and work on like supporting myself financially. And then hopefully in that, while I'm supporting myself financially, I'll have more time to, like, I'll have more control over my own personal schedule. And so then I'd be able to develop other ventures that I'd like to work towards. I'd be able to write more, and I'd be able to work on another channel or something like that. But it's all like, you don't know what the future's gonna hold.
Right.
Like even if a side hustle does become successful, that's not to say that it won't take up more of my time. So yeah, it's kind of just like you have time for what you make time for.
Yeah.
And so in 15 years, I don't know what could happen, but I at least hope to be married. But that's like like not like, I mean like life-wise, but yeah, I don't know. And that in and of itself could affect several other things also, so I don't know.
Yeah. So then my next question for you is, in your day-to-day, how do you honor God? What are some of the things you do to try to walk the talk or make sure that your lifestyle lines up with your beliefs?
Okay, so I guess some background to answer this. I guess mentally right now I'm kind of questioning like what season I'm in and all of that. And I guess like as Christians we're supposed to ask questions. Like we're not just supposed to blindly accept everything that the Bible tells us. Like it wants us to, well, I mean, accept what it tells you, but don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, it's okay to investigate further. Yeah. And
so I'm kind of just like, oh God, what season am I in? Like, what plans do you have for me? Just tell me, let me know. Because like right now I've kind of imagined myself mentally to be like a patient person as far as like, I guess emotionally I'm patient, like as far as like if something happens to me or something is done unto me, then I'm not going to get angry about it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe within like a time aspect or something, it's like I'm like questioning like whether I've ever been patient before. Because like I know you'll be with me, like sometimes we'll be out at a restaurant and then everybody's done eating and then we're all just sitting and then I'm just like, why are we sitting? Like what are we sitting?
But we're not just sitting, we're talking.
We're having a conversation. And I'm just like, oh no. And so it's kind of just like there's patience in that aspect. And so like right now in my life I feel like I'm sitting at a restaurant table and the food is gone and the food has been gone. They put the check, we paid the bill, and I'm just like, okay, what's next? What's going on? And so in that aspect, what I do to honor God is there's actually a Bible verse. Let me see if I can find it. And City can fix this with magic editing.
Yeah, everything doesn't need to be edited out.
The verse of the day is Jeremiah 29:11.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Maybe that was for you.
maybe. Let me see. Okay, the Bible verse for it was Colossians 3:23-24. And it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for the human masters. Since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward, it is the Lord Christ you are serving. And so I use that Bible verse in my day-to-day, to kind of like in my job and everything, and what I'm doing is like, you're not working for yourself, or like you're not working for this company, you're working for God. And so I use that like in my day-to-day just to kind of like push myself forward, and it allows me to be kind of content with the season I'm in. Like I may not know why, but I just know that I'm in it, and while I'm in it I need to do well in it. And so I just honor God by not pulling my hair out and not like complaining or skipping work or showing up late or slacking off. And yeah, so there's that. Sometimes like I love listening to all kinds of music and everything. Sometimes I feel like in my spirit, like, yeah, maybe you should do like a detox and just listen to some Christian music for a good while. And so like sometimes I'll just like go on a break or something from like any, like I'll only listen to Christian music. And like there are different types of Christian music, like there's Christian rap and all that stuff. And I'll listen to all of that, but like I'll feel like I need to be listening to something that like feeds me, rather than something that's just like empty calories. Because music. So yeah, there's sometimes like that too.
No, that's good. I know I've tried doing a secular music fast myself before, and it was actually really nice. I think I did 30 days. So it wasn't quite Lent, but it was sometime a few years ago. I was like, let me just listen to CCM and Christian rap and hip hop and all that for the next 30 days. And by the end of that 30 days, I'm like, that actually really changed me.
Yeah, and then they're like, it also helps me to find like different Christian artists and everything like that, because I'm like I can only listen to so much like Lecrae and Elevations. Like, give me something else. And so I'll ask Spotify, and then there are tons of Christian artists out there.
There's a bunch. Okay, that's pretty much all the questions I had. Plus, my iPad's about to die on top of that. So, but my sister, I'm very proud of her. She's we're only 15 months apart, so we've grown up together, gone to all the same schools, had the same teachers in school. She followed me to A&M as well. And
follow is a strong word.
And to HBU for both of us to get our master's degrees. And it's funny because we're both really we're very different from each other personality-wise. So I'm naturally pretty analytical, logical, very detail-oriented, and pragmatic. And Symone is, I'm just trying to think of the word. Symone's more of a free spirit. I think I might have used that term when I was interviewing my mom a couple episodes ago. So she's more free spirit. She's unconventional. She likes to kind of forge her own path through things. What I told them in the episode with Mom is that when we were growing up and it was time to eat something, you'd be given a choice, like, do you want this or this? I want that. She'd come up with a third option that wasn't even one of the choices, and it's like, no, we told you could have cereal or you could have a hot dog. And so Symone's always been that one who's like, she's determined if she wants to do something her way, she'll find the way to do it, which can be very annoying sometimes.
But I won't ask for your help. I'll find a way to do it. You don't have to.
I know, but yeah, she's very. If you want to break it down into some type of, I don't know, scientific terms or philosophical, I'd be more left-brained, and then she'd be more right-brained. So it's just we think and process things differently, and I've like tradition. I don't mind rewatching stuff, movies, shows. Symone is not really into that. Everything has to be new, and to me that's kind of exhausting sometimes. But to her, it's fresh and it's stimulating. So these aren't good or bad things. It's just how it is.
I mean, you can still be like analytical and detail oriented, because it takes a lot of detail to kind of figure out crochet patterns and stuff like that.
I know. I'm not saying that you're not those things. I'm saying that the difference is naturally I'm more of that, and then I think she's more of some stuff that, like, because both of us are, you can't put people in a box like that. Everyone is a mix of a bunch of traits. But just for example, I got an MBA, so I studied my master's degree in business. She got an MFA in creative writing, Master of Fine Arts. So even our degrees are a testament to just the ways that we think differently from each other, which is great because we can complement each other. And we've always been really close. And yeah.
She never compliments me.
That's false. So she's trying to spread lies on my show. But Symone, how can people find you if they want to follow your crocheting or anime adventures?
Go to youtube.com/MeanieMosey. Though I don't know if your audience is interested in hearing about the most wonderful story in the world that's called One Piece. But if you are, then I talk about that a lot on my anime channel. It's Meanie Mosey everywhere, so on Instagram, on YouTube, and all of that. If you want to go see my crochet stuff, it's Symone Stitches. That's Symone with a Y, Stitches. And that one is, I don't know when that's gonna be developed, but it is there and it won't die completely, but it'll be revived at some point. But yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Meanie Mosey and Symone Stitches. So just go check those out. I mean, you never know. People can listen to Christian podcasts and love anime.
That's not possible.
Okay, if you say so. But thank you guys for tuning in, and this concludes that 3-part series that I wanted to do on just peace and creativity and the ways that it's expressed in the lives of a believer. And I look forward to doing some more series in the future. My family, all 4 of us, are content creators, hard at work, always trying to perfect and refine and devise some new ideas for our channels. So your prayers are appreciated, and we love y'all's support. And until the next time, peace. Hey y'all, forgot to mention you can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, Life at Peace Podcast. And then on YouTube only, it's just Life at Peace. But whether you want to listen or watch, you can listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then you've already found me. But take care. Peace.